York wasn't a coward. Not even a little. Besides, RJ was going to say yes. It was just that he wanted it to be perfect. In every way. From the ambiance, to the food, to the stroll along the Seine under a twinkle-light sky. Even down to the buskers singing romantic French songs. Everything had been meticulously planned, and was now aligned for the moment he got down on one knee and asked Ruby Jane Marshall to marry him. Finally. And really, that was the only reason it had taken him so very long, painfully, ridiculously, stupidly long, for him to propose. Because after a year and a half of chasing down bad guys, namely a plot to kill the president by one former vice president, which included checking and rechecking their evidence for the federal prosecutor, he was so very ready to make good on his promise to return to small-town Shelley, Washington, and build a life together. One that included a front porch view of Lake Shelley via the gorgeous timber-framed house he'd put an offer on, a surprise wedding gift for RJ. Yes, York had it all figured out. Once they'd gotten clear of the trial, he'd booked this trip to Paris, purchased a beautiful vintage 2-carat diamond ring, made dinner reservations at the famed Le Jules Verne restaurant at the Eiffel Tower, with the glittering lights of Paris sprayed at their footsteps. And tonight, during their romantic after-dinner walk, he'd tell her how she'd changed his life. How, somehow, despite his losses, the wounds, she'd healed him. Most of all, that he couldn't wait one more minute to marry her, if she'd have him. In his mind's eye, she said yes and leaped into his arms, and it would all end happily. He knew it in his heart. He just had to get to the restaurant in time, which meant getting through the massive crowd that thronged the entrance to grand, historic Hotel Le Bristol.
"Are you kidding me?"
RJ said next to him, her hand in his. Oh, she looked devastatingly beautiful tonight. Her dark hair back in a smooth, elegant roll, wearing a black dress, low heels, a pair of diamond earrings he'd given her for Christmas. He was going to behave himself tonight. Absolutely. But he was growing tired of the longing to have her in his bed, waking up to her every morning. The longing to make permanent what he felt in his heart. He wanted RJ as his wife. "I know. It's amazing, isn't it?" he said as they walked through the lobby. The checkered black and white travertine floors, the orange trees and planters that lined the room, the French Revival-style furniture, the 3 Michelin-star restaurant, and especially the courtyard garden. He'd been here once, long ago, with the daughter of the U.S. ambassador to Russia, and despite how that turned out, the place held a romance in the air.
"It is. How did you know that Winchester Marshall would be here?"
Winchester Marshall, actor in his newest American spy flick. He played Jack Powers, a slick ex-CIA agent. York could admit, up on the wall like that, the guy looked impressive. Dark hair, blue eyes, built. But probably that was all photoshopped. And besides, the guy didn't have the first clue what it took to really get into the spy game. You didn't end up with a pretty face and an unadulterated smile. For a second, he was keenly aware of the scar that ran from his ear to his jaw. And then he shrugged it away. He wasn't competing with this joker.
"Let's see if we can see him."
He looked at her. "RJ."
"Yeah, you're right. I'm being silly. It's just that there's lore in the family that he's a distant cousin, so..."
She lifted a shoulder. "If you want to stay."
"No, I want to go. I'm starved."
He wrapped an arm around her neck and kissed her temple. "I have an amazing dinner planned."
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.